Welcome back to Indepth. I'm Jake.
And I'm Eli.
It's been a while now, hasn't it?
It has.
Like, what, 2 years?
It's been two or
God.
three. Feels like it's been longer, though, for some reason.
So, on today's episode, we have Potatomasher, also known as Andrew, Andy, whatever. So over the 2 years, a lot of things have happened. He joined the Marine Corps, and we're going to talk about that and see what he had to go through. So we get like a first-hand account of his time.
Exactly.
Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoy the rest of this podcast, and see you on the other side. So it's been a long time now, hasn't it?
It's been a while.
Oh, yeah, it has actually.
Many years.
Like 2
2
years.
years and counting.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
All the brothers are back.
So basically, we kind of decided, and by we I mean it was something I thought about when I was like half asleep.
Yeah, I literally just heard about this today, so.
We're bringing
And here we
Indepth
are.
back.
We're back, boys.
So essentially, things have happened over the past 2 years.
A lot.
We'll talk about it in the podcast. Don't worry. It's coming. Anyway, one of the more notable things was Potatomasher, or also known as Andy, joined the Marine Corps.
Yeah, I did.
So tell us about. I mean, what was it? What made you sign up?
Well, what made me sign up? That's, surprisingly, that's a very good question. Usually when people are asked that question, it's usually the same generic answer. I wanted to be part of something more than just myself, part of a bigger picture, which is very true, especially for me. My specific reason, I'd have to say, is I joined because I wanted to make myself a better person, a better man, but not only for myself, but for the people I loved around me.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
I just wanted to be able to personally benefit from it.
That's why we supported you a lot. If you guys didn't know, I'm Andrew's brother, Eli. But I remember when you were first gonna join, and it was like so sudden. We're like, I remember talking to Mom about it. We're like, what? Since when? And it was so random. And you're like, but you were eager. You were so eager to jump right into it, and that's what you did. It was like a week, and you were already enlisted.
Yeah, because what happened was it was so sudden for you guys, for my family and friends, because I sort of kept it
Under wraps.
under wraps because I was thinking about it. I was thinking about it for several months, and I slowly started to mention it to people. First, I mentioned it to Dad, and I'd mention it to my boss at work that I was thinking about it. And then once I was sure, I told you guys, and that's why it seemed so sudden for you guys. But I was thinking about it for several months, and I was very eager to join because when I called the recruiting office and I asked if I could learn more about the Marine Corps and if I could stop by and check it out. And my recruiter, he said, yeah, sure, come on down. I'm free tomorrow. And so I went down the next day, and he sat me down, told me all about the Marine Corps, and I was like, sign me up, let's go. I was really motivated. And
What were his motivations, or what did he tell you specifically that kind of intrigued you
he
to join so fast?
Specifically, he told me a bunch of things, mostly like the mindset of it and what you accomplish, having a pride of belonging, building your self-confidence, accomplishing something that less than 1% of the United States population is even capable of doing.
Is it really less than
overcoming.
1%? Because I know
Yeah.
a lot of Marines.
Yeah.
Well,
I've seen a lot of Marines.
Well, the thing is, the population of the U.S. is also pretty big.
Yeah, it is pretty big.
It's very true.
But
So,
yeah.
like, what were like prerequisites that you had to go through to even like get your foot in the door?
So, such as, like, for example.
I don't know, like, because like PT was a big thing that you would go to. Was there anything? Was PT kind of like your first experience, or do you like have like to do anything else before you got even to the point in the game where you were going to like PT every Saturday or something like that.
It was a taste of it, wasn't it?
We did get a taste of it, and how our recruiters handled this was pretty neat. Every Wednesday we got together in PT just once a week.
Okay.
And it was a pretty good PT. Workouts that I wasn't used to. It drained me, and I was fairly fit. Playing baseball and sports my whole life. But it even drained me. And something that was awesome about our recruiters, they actually acted as drill instructors. They'd get up in our face, yell at us to try to get us
like a pre-boot camp.
Like a pre-boot camp kind of thing. Yeah, get us sort of accustomed to it, even just a little bit. And one Saturday of every month there'd be what's called a pulley function, and that's when like the recruiting stations from all over New York come together. Well, that was for one event. For one pulley function, all the recruiting stations got together and did this huge, like almost boot camp type thing. But for us, it was just like I remember one pulley function. We went out into the cold, wet, muddy woods, kind of with trails, and we had ammo cans. We had water jugs, we had rifles, and we had to like...
I remember you coming back that day with muddy shoes and a painted face.
Yeah, I was mud everywhere on me because it was really muddy, and we had to get over obstacles, get everyone over the obstacles.
It looked scary.
I came back home with camo paint on my face and mud all over me. I'm like, hi guys.
Yeah.
So it was I think like 30 or 40 pounds in our bag, which really isn't a lot.
Explain the difference between a recruit and a pulley, because I thought you were able to quit. Like, it's kind of giving you a taste when you're a pulley and you can quit.
When you're a pulley, you're in the delayed entry program. So that's when you first enlist. You sort of enlist twice. You enlist in the delayed entry program first, and that's when you can be part of the PT and stuff. And that's when you're a pulley. And then you enlist again the day you leave from MEPS to boot camp, and that's when you sign out of the delayed entry program into the Marine Corps itself, into boot camp.
Okay.
And then once you step on those yellow footprints, that's when you're labeled as a recruit.
And that's okay.
So that's a pretty good segue into like the whole my next question. So boot camp is obviously like a big part of any branch of the military, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
I've seen videos of what it's like on the bus going into Paris Island.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen anyone
too.
for they call it Hollywood out west.
For San Diego?
Yeah. Is it San Diego? But what was it like? Was it just like, okay, everybody, put your head down and your arms on top of your head, or was it like there was someone like screaming at you, like the bus driver over the mic, like, okay, you little shit,
No.
put your head down.
Neither
stuff
of
like
those.
that.
The bus driver, he was just really stern. I remember it vividly because it was just such a intense and stressful moment of my life. Like you just become so scared. You go in like thinking, oh yeah, this is gonna be great. I'm gonna do this, and then when you're on that bus, you're just no one's talking.
At all?
At all. It was
So like, how long was the bus ride, do you think?
about an hour.
And how much of it did you have to put your head down?
It was an hour?
Once we got to the gate, onto Paris Island, the bus driver went on the radio and he was like, now all of you put your heads down and don't look up whatever you do.
What if you did?
He told us we'd I think he said we'd be kicked out if we looked up.
That's pretty rough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what's the reason?
The reason is they never told us, but I'm assuming it's like, like they don't want you memorizing the area as you're coming in.
Why?
If you need to
Probably
escape or
security reasons, escaping, because, escaping was on my mind a lot.
something? Was it?
Yeah.
I remember you telling me every time before you go to bed, you look out at the bridge.
Yeah.
And you're like, should I?
Yeah. Yeah, in our squad bay, I had a rack and the window. You could see the bridge that, went from civilization to Paris Island, and you're like, man.
You know what's funny? they train you to be killing machines to dodge bullets, I'm sure you could escape.
If the alligators didn't get you.
So I remember I also heard another thing that's more of like a psychological thing. It's like break your tie with society.
Mhm.
Sort of like it's almost like falling asleep on an airplane and then waking up on like say like the other side of the world sort of thing. Like you're sort of like disoriented a little bit.
Yeah.
That's one thing I heard about it. But I mean yeah, how easy do you think it would be to escape? Like if you had to.
Oh.
Like, is it to the point where you could sort of like just in the middle of the night, dead night, just get up and walk, or were there like guards around in boot camp? Because I mean, it's only I don't want to say it's only boot camp, but it's sort of.
I'd imagine they lock the doors.
Sometimes the doors were locked, but to be honest, a lot of times they weren't. But that's what we had fire watch for. Fire watch in boot camp, we had 3 fire watch per hour. They preserve order, protect property, and just make sure everything's calm
Right.
and just going smoothly throughout the night. And so that fire watch was also part of the job, making sure no one tried to sneak out or anything. And even if they did sneak out and got to the bridge, they'd have to go past the gate, which they have sentries there, and I don't know what
You
they'd do.
would probably not.
They'd
disappear.
put you in cuffs probably.
Ooh.
Um,
So with boot camp, like how is it sort of structured? Cause like it is, I imagine it can't be learning the same thing every single day. Like well, I mean, sort of like you have to like learn different skills.
yeah,
When you're in it.
We learn different skills, but the thing is, they teach you everything from scratch. And when I say everything, I mean literally everything. They teach you how to dress yourself. They teach you how to tie your shoes, your boots, and your shoes. They teach you how to walk, how to carry things in your arms, carry things in your forearms parallel to the deck. They teach you how to eat, how to speak, how to...
So it's basically like when you're younger and you're getting taught everything.
Basically, but in a lot more strict way.
In a different way that's not like civilian world.
Yep, they teach you how to, pull things out of your foot locker and put them back in.
I remember when we picked you up from Paris Island and we were about to leave, and what were you feeling at that point? Because you were there for so long.
Oh man,
learning
that's a big
all
jump.
of these different things.
Sort of being pulled away from the
from-
rest of the world.
It was a...
And we were entering civilian world for the first time.
So at the
In a
very
long
end of...
time.
So when I graduated,
When you graduated, we were leaving.
it was a really odd emotion. Because I go 3 whole months learning how to do different things, do certain things, learning how to say certain things, and having a certain mentality, because they trained us to be aggressive, to be structured, to be disciplined, and so I'm standing tall in my blues, and like especially when I see you guys, I'm like I didn't know what to say, because first time seeing my family in 3 months after going through so much, it was just the best feeling in the world. Like if I could cry at that moment, I would have. But I didn't cry because they slayed the emotions out of me. When we were leaving Paris Island, I just remember a sense of relief, but also kind of a sense of sadness because and a little bit of nervousness, because I'm going into the civilian world for the first time after all this, and I didn't know how to act. I didn't know how to talk to people like normal people. I'm like, oh, there's a normal person. I gotta try to act normal again. I forgot how to be normal in a civilian society. I was just so used to being military structured, and it did take a while to adjust to civilian life. Coming home, sleeping in a nice bed, not having to wake up at 04 in the morning.
Which is 4 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
Okay. For those who might not know, I don't know.
Yeah, not having to, not having them flick on the lights, screaming lights, 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 telling us to get online, put our heels on the black line. It's like it was just like I was relieved, obviously, because you don't want to really go through that again. But at the same time, it's like my body was so used to that my body sort of missed it.
Sort of like
It just felt weird to not do that stuff anymore.
sort of like do you know what Stockholm syndrome is?
Yeah.
Sort of it sounds sort of like subconscious, like Stockholm kind of stuff.
Yeah, kind of.
Because I mean, like when I left, I kind of felt the same way when I left. When I graduated high school, I mean, to a lesser degree.
Yeah.
But like
yeah.
it was a big part of your life. Like you, granted, 3 months to like 12 years in grade school.
Mm-hmm.
It's a large difference in time, but the idea I think is sort of the same. So I mean, I think I understand what you're talking about. So, I have a question. So obviously when you go into boot camp, you're not automatically considered a Marine at that point. So like what was almost like the cusp of like recruithood to like becoming a Marine?
Getting your anchor globe.
The anchor globe.
Or anchor.
I mean,
The transition from recruit to Marine.
Like what did you have to do? Because I heard there were like
the Crucible.
The
Was
Crucible.
it the Crucible?
Yes.
Because I heard there's different phases in boot camp,
There are, yes.
but like, enlighten us on the Crucible.
All right. So, first I'll just break down the phases real quick. There were 3 phases. Recently there's been added a 4th phase, the Marine phase. I guess it's really dumb.
So would that like
And-
extend boot camp?
No, it's the same amount of time. It's just broke. It's a weird schedule, and it's really dumb, honestly. So first phase, I'll stick with like the 3 phases. The first phase, you're receiving week. You learn how to do everything, all the fun stuff. Getting a lot of exercising. Let's just say, and then second phase would be like, you start learning how to shoot your rifle, become a marksman, and stuff like that. Third phase would be more Marine Corps stuff.
Like what?
Basic warrior training, going out in the field, and
So the second phase is the best.
second and third phases are probably the best. And during that third phase, we have the Crucible, which is the last test to determine if you're going to be a Marine or not. And it's the hardest thing you'll ever do. Like, honestly, like, I can guarantee that the Crucible was the hardest thing I will ever do my entire life.
I've woken up in the morning and the will to do that's pretty hard.
Yeah, I know, right?
All jokes aside, so the Crucible, like, what was? I guess run us through what it was and like what you experienced in it.
Okay. So for us in the East Coast, because there's East Coast and West Coast boot camp, in the East Coast, Paris Island, it was just brutal.
Okay.
We got slayed. It was a 3-day thing. Well, more like.
Because I heard it was like 50-something. Was it 50-something hours?
It
That might
was,
be inaccurate. I don't.
It was a long time. It might have just been 2 full days, and then the morning of the 3rd day. Yeah, the morning of the 3rd day. But so the first day we woke up at 02 in the morning.
Wow.
And we quickly got dressed because it was almost like a competition to get out there, get in our platoons, but our platoons were also split up into squads for the Crucible.
And you knew it was, like, the day before you knew it was going to be that day.
No, we
Crucible.
knew
Or was it
we
a
knew the
surprise?
date of our Crucible. Like,
You work up to that.
we're like, they wouldn't have told us until like right before, but people were keeping track for the calendar, and we already knew the date from before. So,
I see.
but yeah, so we got dressed, got our packs, went outside, formed up into our squads, and then we stepped off and we started hiking.
Took a hike.
Took a hike. We took
Go
a march.
take a hike, boys.
Yeah, we marched. Excuse me. I don't remember how far it was. Probably like 6 miles.
And that might not
Terrible.
seem like a lot, but like I imagine it was pretty.
Hot.
It was different. Sounded like because like the temperature and the environment was different. But aren't you carrying like a lot of stuff on you?
For the first hike, it was easy.
Was
honestly, it wasn't that long, 5-6 miles,
Right.
which really isn't that long from what you're used to, and you're only carrying your assault pack. You're not carrying your main pack. The assault pack was
How
kind
many
of
pounds do you think it was? 20.
30,
Oh, okay.
20, maybe 20 to 30. It kind of looks like a backpack almost,
Okay.
just a bit bigger.
Was it like
And
just on
So
exclusively on?
it wasn't god awful.
It wasn't god awful.
Was it like exclusively on your back or?
Exclusively on your back, just like a strap backpack.
Okay.
And with not all but a lot of your gear inside, and MREs. We stuffed our MREs, like half of them in there and half in our main pack.
So what was it like stepping off? Like
Uh,
like the sort of like heck with it. Here we go, boys. Here we go. We're going in.
I was kind of excited. I was like, here we go. This is it. This is the final, is what's going to determine our graduation,
Right.
And, we're stepping off, and it wasn't too bad. I was like, this is fine. Like, this is going to be good. And we get to what's called Page Field. It's basically an abandoned airstrip.
Okay.
Which I never want to see Page Field again. It's like it's a maze of airstrips.
Is it like
basically.
overgrown and stuff or like well kept?
It's kind of overgrown, yeah. So it because it was pretty much abandoned. But it was a whole maze of it. So we're just marching on Page Field for a couple hours, and
Were you able? So I've never been on like, cause we have like the army depot like right nearby, but did you ever run into any other groups in that, or was it
we
so
all marched
As
at the
one.
same time. We all marched as one. Yeah.
Was it like a formation march?
Yep.
Like,
Yeah. It was a formation where you had it basically two lines.
Mm-hmm.
One line on this side, one line on this side. It was just
Two single file.
two single file lines on each
What was in between the lines?
the road.
Oh, okay.
We had to march
see.
on the sides of the roads
So some need to go
because
by
you don't want to be close.
Yeah.
You don't want to be close to each other. You don't want to be mixed up. So we separated like that, and kept close to the tree line. You don't want to be in the open. So
Like how long was this conga line of recruits?
it was pretty long. We had about I don't know, a couple hundred
Okay.
in our
Oh yeah, so there's a couple hundred, so there's quite a bit.
company probably. We had
Did each line comprise of multiple companies
there's
or multiple groups?
yeah, pretty much because it was just everyone in two single file lines, so it was a pretty long line, and so
Like what was the first thing you did in the Crucible, aside from that march?
well, aside from the hiking, just a side note, once we got to our destination after that small hike,
Yeah.
people were passing out already.
Really?
People were already dropping.
So like
What happened to them?
Thankfully, they were able to recover, so they could continue on, but they just dropped like flies, and then
That would have been me.
probably.
so
And I was like, I remember thinking like, are you serious? We just started this, and it's not even like the middle of the day.
was it really hot out though? I mean, there had to have been like
It was hot,
Well, they probably weren't well
especially for the
hydrated.
morning.
were they
Yeah.
hydrated?
Because like we didn't eat, we didn't get much hydration, so that's probably what it was. And
Because I remember hearing that there were like different flag conditions.
yes, there's different flag conditions. There's the green flag, which is a very cool temperature. Yellow flag, which is like 80 degrees or something. Red flag is like 85 degrees. And then black flag is 90 degrees or higher. So it gets pretty intense, really humid. And it was,
So the green flag would have been your best friend.
yeah, but,
That wasn't gonna happen.
yeah.
Yeah.
But, of course, we had black flag
That day.
the whole Crucible.
The entire Crucible.
The entire Crucible was Black Flag. So we had people
Dropping like flies.
dropping like flies. So yeah, we did a bunch of small events.
Anything notable
Anything
except for the entire thing?
except for well, because there's just so much. Like the first one, we were split up into fire teams.
Pick your favorite one.
My favorite one.
Or
Jeez.
one that was actually like simple to get over, or actually the hardest.
All right. Well, one of the hardest and most frustrating was probably what they called the Battle of Fallujah. It's basically this huge path in the middle of the field that's all muddy, and you have to low crawl through the whole thing, which is laying completely flat on your stomach.
If you could give a measurement.
Of how long it might be.
Maybe 50 to 100. Maybe no. Maybe like
200
50
feet?
to 100 meters, probably.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
crawling that much, huh?
Yeah, and like you had to have your face in the mud, basically. You had to like turn your head and like actually like drag your face in the mud, dragging your rifle. And we were even given ammo cans filled with sand that we had to drag too.
Ooh.
And we had to get under barbed wire with it. We had to get our whole fire team, which is comprised of 4 people, under the barbed wire.
Did you see anyone quit? Like almost give up in a sense, like they can't do anymore.
I didn't see anyone quit, but I did hear that people did quit.
Like, what happens if you quit?
You get kicked out.
Like, immediately? Like,
Yeah.
pack your bags, call your mom from, like...
When you say
Maine,
that, when you
to
say
pick
that's
you
an
up.
embarrassment almost.
Yeah, like you go through so much just to quit on the final test. Like it's ridiculous.
What if you don't quit and you want to stay in the Marines, but like you didn't do good on the Crucible at all?
Or is there, like... Is it more of, like, is there, like, a pass-fail, or, like...
You have to get through the whole thing except the final hike. You don't have to get through the final hike to pass. You have to pass everything else. But if you like collapse or can't go on during the final hike in the last morning,
So you're getting graded. You're getting graded basically the whole time.
Basically.
you're at boot camp,
yeah, you do get graded.
like a school.
Kind of just. a
But
little
with
different.
mud and barbed wire? And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're crawling with your ammo can, and if you let go of your ammo can, the drill instructors, if they saw it, they like to take it and throw it all the way back at the beginning. So you had to low crawl all the way back, grab the ammo can, and continue forward. That was fun.
With,
I
quote,
imagine.
with or without quotes?
Half.
Okay, fair enough. So, I guess, other than that, like, what did you, because, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but at the end of the Crucible, they give you your, I'm gonna butcher this, they give you your little medal thing, like, to say that you have become Marine Corps,
Metal.
or you become
Yeah.
a Marine.
You wait. Your anchor and globe.
Is it Globe and Anchor?
It's Eagle, Globe, and Anchor.
Eagle
Yes.
globe.
Or
Okay.
EGA for short.
That's
So when you
right.
got that award, that accomplishment, like, what was going through your head at that point?
I honestly felt a little dizzy. I was like, cause like after all that I went through, like this was right after the final hike, which for us, we were only supposed to march a 15K, after all that, which is about 9 miles, but we ended up taking a wrong turn on the way back. We ended up marching 15 miles instead of 15 kilometers.
Okay.
So we ended up marching 15 miles. That's an extra 6 miles, after being exhausted already and marching all the time, during the Crucible. So our feet, were just destroyed. Like we were limping all the way back, and someone even like right as we were getting back, you know this, Eli, the "We Make Marines" sign.
Oh yeah.
One of the buddies next to me, right as we went under that sign, his legs completely gave out and he dropped and he was like, I'm fine, my legs just cramped." So,
You made it.
yeah, he made it, thankfully. But yeah, we made it to the monument of the Iwo Jima statue, by the parade deck. and we were.
Is that what they give you your?
That's where they give us our EGAs, and I remember just like feeling so accomplished. Like I went through all that, and I did it. I didn't quit. I kept going through it, and I made it, and it was such an overwhelming feeling. Like everyone was crying. I can only pick out like 2 people who weren't. But
He's like, hey, maggot, why are you not crying?
Yeah, right.
Tear up those eyes, maggot.
Yeah, but like I was crying like a baby. Like I haven't cried so hard in my life, honestly. It was just such an overwhelming feeling.
Imagine that one guy being straight faced, like, whatever.
Yeah.
Like 15 months, whatever.
I thought this was summer camp.
I know this was.
Can I go home?
Can I go home?
Where's my merit bag?
Well, my question to you is that now that you've graduated MCT and you're home for Christmas, looking
And my MOS school.
and yeah, MOS school.
What was that like? Sorry to cut you off, but like, what's that?
Well, MCT was kind of bad. We had the Hurricane Florence at the time,
Oh, that's
so
right.
we were told, they were like, all right, guys, the whole state's evacuating, but we're staying here, and we're like,
You ever seen
what?
that meme where it was like, guess I'll die then?
Yeah,
Yeah, like, whatever.
guess I'll die then. So we hunkered down in the squad base, and blockaded the windows, and we were confined to our squad base for a whole week because of the storm. And we had rations of 2 MREs a day, and the power was out, and we couldn't take showers, and it
must have
was.
been like a stinky sausage fest.
Oh yes, it was.
Cause I have a buddy I went to school with who joined, he got his Marine Corps status. He finished his Crucible and was home for Christmas. Basically, he was you a year ago. And he was I want to say he was because you were in North Carolina, right?
For MCT, yes.
For the hurricane stuff.
Yeah.
He was there too, and he was like, apparently there's one, how many bases are in there? He told me about 2.
Yeah,
one
there's-
has like the high ground, one has like, sort of like not the high ground, and one got kind of like flooded and stuff or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Which
Yeah,
one were
there's-
you? Were you the high ground?
There's several bases there. I was at Camp Geiger, and that got pretty flooded. So, like, not really bad where we were, but I heard that outside the base was even worse.
I can imagine.
Because falling down trees everywhere. We had a police call the area, so basically you pick up any trash, and for us that meant tree branches. So that was a long day, but yeah, there's water up to, like, you could step and it'd be like, up to your knees almost.
Did you guys act like Peace Corps guys? Sort of like venturing out to, since like obviously, the kind of like the little crazy weather we had here before you came home. There were people who were like misplaced or displaced and stuff. So like,
I see.
any like rescue, like relief effort.
No, we didn't. There were Marine Corps relief efforts throughout the area, but I guess they just didn't trust a bunch of junior Marines to go out and help people.
You get yourselves drowned.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God, I'm drowning.
Or get them drowned, right?
I don't know what happened. I mean, like I was dragging through the water. They just went limp. Staff Sergeant, he's dead.
He's dead.
You done killed him.
Yeah.
Promotion. Good job.
You've been promoted.
My question was going back to the boot camp thing. Now that you've graduated MOS and MCT and you're here for Christmas, looking back at boot camp, was that the longest 3 months of your life or the shortest? Did it go by so fast when you look back at it?
Because,
Or?
I mean, like the last time you were home, it was 3 months ago. It was the beginning of the semester.
Yeah.
So like,
Did it feel like it went by super fast for you or super slow?
At the moment during boot camp, it felt really slow. It was so slow. I dreaded it. Now as I look back on it, I feel like it went by pretty fast. And now that I just graduated my MOS school. Boot camp was like 6 months ago, 7 months ago, whatever. Like,
Crazy to think it was that long ago. I feel like we just.
Well,
picked you
yeah,
up.
I think I
It was more like 3. 'Cause
yeah,
then you
but
came back
like
and
I
when you
started
went
boot
in.
camp. Yeah, when I went in. Yeah, it's just like, I'm like, man, that, like, I'm glad I don't have to worry about it anymore. Like, I got through that, don't have to go through it again, you know?
You earned.
A distant
You earned
memory
everything.
almost. Yeah.
And you don't have to go back now.
Yeah, thankfully.
Do you start your contract after boot camp?
No, you start your contract during boot camp. So I've already served half a year of my 4.
Do you think you're gonna
So
go
3
for
and a half.
another?
You think, re-enlist? I'm not sure. I might. It's a good idea. It's a very good career path. But depending on how I like it, and, like, honestly, I'm kind of a family guy. Like, knowing me, I'll just miss my family too much, so I'll want to come back home.
Thing is, you can set up an application for law enforcement, and they'll accept you just like that.
Exactly. Which I've been thinking about going into law enforcement once I get out.
We could.
But still, I'm a junior Marine, so it's like, throughout our 4 years, we're going to be going back and forth, saying, yeah, I'm going to re-enlist. No, I'm not going to. Yeah, I will. No, I won't.
How
So-
many times do they ask you? Is it kind of like a
I think
like
you get...
a clingy girlfriend kind of thing? Like,
No,
you gonna join?
no.
You gonna join?
No, I don't know if they ask you towards the end of your enlistment or if you have to bring it up. But you'll just go over yourself back and forth, thinking, yeah, I will. No, I won't. So I don't. We'll just have to wait and see. If not, there's plenty of career paths I can do outside the Marine Corps, like law enforcement, which I'd really like to get into.
So where are you off to now? Like, well, first off, how long are you on leave for?
On leave, well,
You got screwed over.
I did. So I'm going overseas, and usually overseas people get 20 days of leave, usually, and they're like, nah, we'll give you 15, so...
Guess I'll die then.
Yeah, I mean, I have to be thankful because I'm home for Christmas. Some of my buddies, they won't be home for Christmas,
Right.
so I gotta count my blessings with that. But, so I leave like a couple days after Christmas, yeah. But, and then I'm going straight to Okinawa, Japan. I'll be stationed there for the rest of my enlistment.
Unless you choose to go somewhere else.
Possibly. I don't know how that is gonna work. I heard it's possible, but I just haven't heard anything of it. So, like, if I don't like it there, I might.
If the weeb culture is too much to handle.
I mean, I wouldn't mind it. It's just I'm being attached to a MU, Marine Expeditionary Unit, which is basically
You travel on boat.
I travel on boat.
I'm bombing a boat.
You can buy me a boat.
Buy
So,
me a
like-
truck to pull it.
Just imagine just like going on the freeway. There's like a giant like aircraft carrier being towed by like a Tonka truck.
You can buy me a Yeti one.
You can buy me a hinge to pull it. So, yeah, because, I don't know. Because if I miss home too much, I might be able to transfer over to, like, East Coast and be closer to home.
I mean, what would you be doing there in Japan? Do you know?
Well, so like I was saying, I'm attached to a MU, which is a big boat unit.
So you won't be on the island.
I will and I won't.
Just
There's-
the wind.
The wind. There's rotations. Units rotate onto the MU, on and off of it. So, like, when I get to Japan, I might be on the island for, like, 3 months. And then our unit rotates onto the MU for 6 months. And then after that, we go back onto Okinawa for a few months or however long, probably 6 months.
Do you get any free time on the island? To
Yeah.
walk around, hang out?
Yeah. Because liberty's a thing, every day and the weekends. But I did hear that there are a lot of restrictions now because of, people getting in trouble over in Okinawa. So there's been quite a few restrictions on things you can do, but it's still going to be a good experience.
Other than that, I mean,
That's I hear that a lot when, like, let's say our grandpa, for example, he he was part of the Navy and he loved traveling everywhere.
Yeah. Yep.
And it was he literally traveled everywhere and he got to see everything, and it was a great experience.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I mean, if that's that, thanks for coming on to the show, man.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me.
It's great.
It's nice. I like it.
Well, I mean,
I hope you guys continue with this too.
I mean, yeah, I'll hit you up and be like, hey, a new episode's up in like a year from now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll
I'll be
Skype call you.
I'll be sure to watch them for sure or listen to them.
I mean, yeah, because it all is like audio and stuff. It's like download it.
Mm-hmm.
So is it gonna be like over like video footage, like gameplay of the game?
No, I was thinking like a still image because like it's like we're going on like 40 minutes at the moment,
Yeah.
so like it's gonna be.
I can provide you 40 minutes of Fortnite. I promise you I can do that.
With or without the textures loaded.
Without.
Anyway, I mean, I guess we'll catch you guys later.